Let's go barlastic and make a classic. Cornflakes poured towards the bowl before frosted flakes for so broken until will gathered shattered glass. Reforming profile divided, realign whole before foe, known as last acts that make taking fatal mistakes. My eyes lie like my life beside fire's desire, burn up, engulf our world with witnessing me succeeding, achieving deeds deemed beaming out bright in sunlight like while motions of forms, lower life forms, the forms decompose while they declare days be named. Name paper displayed birth date, age of conforming and confirming to consumers or consumed. Reflections of directions for conforming, favoring orders over solo devotion as individualism transitions to mimicking capitalism. Yo, smoke forms, Doran, sour burning, celery greenery. Steam leaves leaders blind while guided by flaming haze. Paves the way where fear be dreaming. Failures lure drooling fools, ignoring isolation of playing main character. Acts attracts, chasing validation of others rather than self-deflection of reflecting. Habits given then earned, not a cap and statin plays that happen. No Pinocchio, so no nose growing. Adorn words flowing, fountain of youth found out in corruption, damning man's path, gathering stats that never ask questions, all dispersing rewards, pursuing curiosity over currency. They claim saying flames, though pyro for shows, no explosion for war, rather than darts that tag marks, not a talking optimist, hit missiles that miss, leave you all sparked, past tense of offense, body leaning on reaper, sickle slices, wide dimensions where frames lay, place decay, they care, prior going upwards or downwards forever. They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of display.
If you're a guy and you've never attracted a gay man in your life, or you don't have a gay man trying to hit at you, or maybe you go somewhere and it might be a few gay people and they're making eye contact with you, chances are you're probably not as attractive as what you think you are. I cannot tell you that every single attractive guy has to some degree attracted gay men, not just one, but like all the time. That goes with social media and dating apps too. If you got gay dudes consistently hitting you up, sometimes more than straight women, then you might want to readjust your image and how you're presenting yourself to the world. But it's also a clear sign too, an affirmation that you're probably a lot more handsome than what you actually think you are. If you're an ugly or unattractive guy, you're probably never going to have any sort of gay man trying to get at you.
Yeah, yo, let's go, man. Yo, check it, man. Haze lace, frosted flakes, why I'm verbalizing with Tony the Tiger. Mind live wire describing my strife for life, more visible than tiger stripes. Play the tape, prepare to be amazed. Birthplace, insane asylum. Mama pumped me out the womb, whooped me with my umbilical cord. Before you know, roping it, noosing me. Crows took off with the umbilical cord, so I know beating me with pieces of me. For letting it be known, it's closet for recruiting out of pocket to closet recruit dudes. Playing straight, raiding faces, old wannabe closet close. In closet volunteering to make up male faces before powdering them nuts, claiming masculinity when seeking need touching. Other men need touching in the closets, what they seeking to recruit you for. They seeking to need touch other men in the closet. They anticipating the day I'm uninformed for my funeral, so during an open casket they may face me when I can't combat them attempting to closet my corpse. Wake facing decapitated faces of dudes whose hobbies be face raiding male faces, claiming they straight. Why my footwear never matches, always wearing different faces. I've decapitated to be laced, pay where as I pay another day paying Satan's saints with visits with neck dividers, slices sharper than shards of Savannah cat claws, under the sun puffing blunts while behind pyro shows of homes I've burned, used to belong to dudes I'm wearing as shoes, used to confuse my kindness as anti-violence until my finger pulled the triggers before they triggered silence by silencers, piercing through your whole form before forever ghosting. No console for seeking to see enemies die like mice beside vipers and felines. Either predator that makes prey decay, snowflakes amaze beside I oozing awesome aura, as though Moses for parting seas of sheeple to stand apart. Used to burn blunts of herb with my bras, though no more for niggas lick turds out of butts. Shit lips will hit the spliff. Why deny puff puff past my Zaza, solely smoking solo, rolling bowls while I write rhymes. My mind aligned with wit, miles defined by light years.
Only a man knows what a man needs.
They downtown walking around shirtless looking like the village people. I'm sorry. I'm like, so why? We know Austin got a problem with keeping a damn shirt on. Why these two look? This is, look at this picture. This is why gay black men keep walking up to them.
I would agree.
That's a gay black fucking Tinder profile. Both of them.
Guys like what they like, then let them guys be, bro. I'm out.
Bro, Rio has so many trans. So many.
We've been here. It is so many trans in Rio. No discrimination. You are what you are. But, yeah.
It's poignantly tangible.
But, bro, it is a lot of trans in Rio de Janeiro.
Are you attracted to any friend?
No.
If you go to the beach, find the gay area, sit in the gay area. I'm telling you, bro, gay dudes here in Brazil throw the best alley-oops. The gay dudes here in Brazil throw hella oops.
I'm out.
I walk up and down the street all the fucking time, wherever, no matter where I am in Brazil. If a gay guy looks at me, I ain't flipping out. I'm not going crazy. I'm not telling, what the fuck you looking? I ain't doing none of that. I'm not doing none of that. Because what they like to see is what they like to see, bro. I can't help the fact that they think I'm attractive. Like I tell you guys, some of the gay guys in Brazil throw the best alley-oops.
How does it feel to be a man and being worthless?
I guess building society is worthless, but I just can't help it as a man.
I have something more important to do. My fans need a new selfie.
Hey everybody, what's up, man? Hold the truth hostage in SP, man. What's good, brother? And have a safe ride to work, man. Safe ride, man. Safe ride, brother. And yeah, man. This is Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage, man. And you know, this stream is gonna be very different, man. You know, I don't do a lot of reaction streams, you know, but this one is very important, man. This one is very important. And yeah, SP 100%, man. AI is gonna change the visual outcome. You know, men are no longer limited. We're no longer limited by the fact that society hides. We now can show it. But you know, with this stream that gets serious is that, you know, I want to have a moment of silence for you know, Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Gotta make sure I pronounce his name correct. Charlie Kirk. Just want to have a moment of silence for him. Yeah, thank everyone, man, for that moment of silence. You know, a lot of the media and a lot of people covering Charlie Kirk's assassination, they're gonna go the old route. It's left versus right, right versus left. They're gonna go that route. But what's really at stake with the Charlie Kirk assassination is that what's really at stake is, you know, the question of, is it the end? Is it the end of freedom of speech? And is it the end of, America as we know it when it comes to being able to operate in the public eye, to request some changes. But before I continue on, man, just gonna have a quick shot, man, for Charlie Kirk, man. Shot of that that Kraken, you know, to Charlie Kirk, man. Oh man, it's pretty good. But the Charlie Kirk assassination, man. Like I was saying, a lot of the media will cover it from a left versus right, right versus left. But the truth is, man, and let me get a photo of the man, Charlie, Kirk. Let me get a photo of him. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the right photo, man. Cause people will let me get the right photo of the man. Give me 1 second. Let me get the right photo. Oh man, yeah, there it is. Charlie Kirk, man. Let me just copy this link. Oh man. Yeah, man, I just want to say, man, a lot of people are covering the Charlie Kirk, but man, we got to understand, a family has lost somebody, man. A family has lost their son. A wife has lost her husband. I think he had a child. They lost their father. And they're gonna dehumanize this. They're gonna make this about, politics rather than the human life that was lost. You know what I'm saying? His family will never see him again, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and what's happening here, and shout out to the homies SP, shout out to, the people watching. What's happening here is that, man, this is a situation of, this is a state emergency, man, you know, because the Charlie Kirk assassination exposes that, is making America great again a situation where it's about just the president feeling safe, or is making America great again about making Americans feel safe? Because here's the thing you got to understand. You know, when they tried to assassinate Trump, you know what I'm saying? And Trump survived that assassination. Now, one thing I thought about was, okay, they tried to assassinate President Trump. This would force the 360. This would force Trump to say, you know what? The system is completely broken, and I have to completely change things. You know what I'm saying? I have to completely change the situation in America. You know what I'm saying? I have to change the laws, because when they tried to assassinate President Trump, it was a case of the country needs a complete, U-turn. The country needs a complete U-turn and change, because the thing is this, man, you can't make America great again if you won't return power to the normal normal insane American. You know what I'm saying? And what the Charlie Kirk assassination basically means is that, you know, it basically means that you know, that Trump has to completely change the country, man. He's got to return the country back to when normal Americans had the right to defend themselves. The men, because here's the thing with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You got to look at it and say, would this happen to this man in the 1940s? Would this happen to him in the 1950s? Would this happen to him in the 1960s? Would this happen to him in the 1970s? Would this happen to him in the 1980s? Would this happen to him in the 1990s? Would this happen to him in the 2000s? You know what I'm saying? Because what's happened in America right now, and shout out to the homie SP. He's in what I'm saying, he's up in he's overseas. Shout out to the homie. Where he's at is that all the politicians have, you know, have placed the power that comes with corruption at such a high level that they don't they don't look at the vulnerabilities of their country, because when you look at when they attempted to assassinate Trump, what I was telling guys that it could happen. What could happen is Trump does a full 360 and says, you know what, man, the government needs to enforce the right of Americans to bear arms, the rights for those Americans that qualify to bear arms. Because what's going on in the country is that, from London to, from America, London, Australia, because they've demonized the men, the fathers, stability. You know what I'm saying? Because they've rewarded and given awards and promoted that, the further you go towards insanity, the more they respect you, man. The more they respect you, bro. Like a lot of, we're on YouTube. I can't say it like that, but a lot of the Call of Duties, that's been happening at the schools, a lot of the Call of Duties that's happened at the church, the schools, the malls, there was a lot of man formers. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of some trannies in there, that did it, but the news did not fully cover this. All the platforms did not fully cover this, because since the 2010s, the main goal of all the platforms has been to demonize the straight male. You know what I'm saying? To demonize the authority, the stability that comes from a straight male. You know what I'm saying? That's what's been going on. And they've stripped the right to bear arms in a lot of states. They've stripped fatherhood is not covered in the amendments. Fatherhood is not covered in the Constitution. And you look at this Charlie Kirk situation, you look at You look at America, you look at London, you look at all these westernized countries where the governments are so infatuated with the destruction of father, you know, the stability of the straight male, the heterosexual male, that they are willing to destroy everything. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at this situation and in America with what happened to Charlie Kirk, and you're like, man, Trump almost got assassinated, you know? And what's happened that Trump then look at is okay, they were bold enough to come after the president. So if they were bold enough to come after the president, that means they're bold enough to come after anybody. You know what I'm saying? That Charlie Kirk guy wasn't Trump. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't Trump. He wasn't the president. So he was a far less dangerous target. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happened. And in the situation Trump is in now is that when Conan 19 happened, when Conan 19 happened, Trump shut down all of America, the whole world. When Trump shut down America for Conan 19 with no second evidence, no independent um testing. It was Dr. I don't know if it's safe to say that name. We're on YouTube. Dr. False. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Falsey said, you know what? This is contagious. Conan 19 is going to destroy everybody. It's going to lead to, The Walking Dead. It's going to lead to Resident Evil. It's going to lead to all this. The country was shut down over a threat that had no logistical evidence, no independent testing, and the whole country was shut down. So, what you got to look at is if Trump shut down the whole country for Conan 19, where it wasn't a true threat, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't 100% threat. Did people pass on? Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna spend my time on the theories and thoughts and all that stuff. We could talk about that another time. But if Trump shut down the whole country because of Conan 19, you know what I'm saying? You know, shut down the whole country without independent testing. Then London followed suit, Australia, all these other countries, all the leadership. Think about Conan 19. All the the politicians at once, they all agreed, shut down the entire country, punish the citizens and all this stuff, right? During Conan 19. Now with this Charlie Kirk situation, this is a situation where if Trump doesn't act, you know what I'm saying? If Trump doesn't act, I'd say with a situation where it is the laws of the country are absolutely changed. You know what I'm saying? The right to bear arms and the protection of the straight male and heterosexual dynamics is now uplifted. You know what I'm saying? If this does not happen, what this creates is that the politicians are perfectly okay. The ones in power, the ones with the most amount of money, the ones with the most amount of leverage are perfectly okay with what happened to Charlie Kirk because it wouldn't happen to the ones in power, the ones with enough money. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a situation of the poor or those that have not yet reached the level of power and position, mayor, governor. Those that have not reached that level should be allowed to be Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? They should be allowed to be Call of Duty because they don't have the power. And what this does is it creates a scenario where any up and coming politician, any up and coming person that is running for office, they better be they're gonna be dodging aim assist. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be dodging aim assist. You know, for lack of, I gotta be careful with certain words, YouTube. They're gonna be dodging aim assist, man. Because if Trump after this does not completely declare a state of emergency, give me a second. Damn, fucking goddamn. Give me a second. Yeah, gotta fix the 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 camera. Give me a second. Yeah, because if Trump doesn't declare a state of emergency, man, this will send a message to London. This will send a message to every country that this is perfectly fine. What happened to Charlie Kirk, this is perfectly fine because he wasn't established. You know what I'm saying? Because this sends a message that if you are not yet fully established within the political hierarchy, your life is at risk. And it's perfectly normal. Because here's the situation, man. None of this would have happened if you had the right to bear arms, from normal citizens. Like, I'm not gonna give too much, but you know, even if you have a, a um a Call of Duty, a loadout, even if you have a Call of Duty loadout license, it's still hard to get a new loadout, a new arms, a new weapon. You know what I'm saying? It's still hard to get some new DLC. You know what I'm saying? To buy DLC in real life to get a gun. You know, this sends a message to all the westernized countries. If Trump doesn't come because if Trump doesn't come out and say, you know what, I'm using damn, what was that thing when the president passes laws? Let me search it quick. Let me use AI. Give me 1 minute, man. I'm trying to remember what is it when the president passes laws? What do they they call when the president passes laws? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see if I can get this quick. Damn, man. I forget what they call it when the president just passes laws. Sometimes AI, man, takes too damn long. It's called, oh, yeah, I think it's called executive order or something. You know what I'm saying? My brain is a little smushed right now without votes. I think it's called an executive order. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They just passed the death penalty allegedly. Yeah, but the death penalty isn't enough. The problem we have right now is that, I was going to write a whole document on the law. The problem we have in Western societies is that we do not have prevention. All the laws in the West are designed for the aftermath. Oh, someone broke into your home and Call of Duty your family, they get this penalty. There's no prevention of escalation. There's no de-escalation laws. There's no de-escalation laws. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. If someone was to come outside their home with a knife, let's say with a knife, and they threaten somebody, they threaten to harm someone, you know what I'm saying? They should get a extreme penalty. You know what I'm saying? An extreme, not a fine. I'm talking about if you come out with a knife outside and you threaten somebody, you should be looking at facing potentially 10 to 20 years in jail. You know what I'm saying? And if you threaten somebody openly in public, there should be a potential, 1 to 5 years in jail. The problem we have in the West, and I said this years ago, the problem we have, like, for example, in America, we have, listen to this, in UK, we got all these laws. It's called attempted murder. Think about this. They say if you failed at unaliving somebody, it's called attempted murder. You know what I'm saying? If you failed, so the government's like, well, he failed to kill that person, so he gets less time because he failed. They've made it in the West that the amount of time you get is a reward. Oh man, you killed somebody, so you're getting life. You're getting a death penalty. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a death penalty. But if you fail to kill that person, you get less time. Like you attempting to kill somebody isn't something that should send you to jail for life. You know what I'm saying? If someone attempted to kill you, you survived, that person who attempted to kill you should get the death penalty or life. You know what I'm saying? Life in prison, death penalty. They've made it into a reward system. Oh man, you didn't kill him. That's attempted murder. We can't give you death penalty. We can't give you life in prison. You didn't succeed. You did not succeed at killing that person, so we can't give you that much time. You know what I'm saying? That's how the West works. The West does not actually value the threat to someone's life. It doesn't value life from a perspective of, if you died, they can't bring you back. You only have one life. You know what I'm saying? They don't treat it like it matters. Oh my God, he stabbed that person and they lived. So that's attempted murder. Dude, he almost killed me. What do you mean he gets lesser time? Give that person, life. They tried to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Because they failed, you're going to give them less time? And then you're surprised they next time try to kill another person? You know what I'm saying? It's insanity, bro. It's insane. And they want us to believe we're not the country of savages and insanity. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna give you less time for failing to kill somebody, and they're gonna sugarcoat it and say, "Oh, it was attempted murder." He failed, so don't give him that much time. Only give them the death penalty and life in prison if they succeed. And think about this. You attempted to murder somebody. Now that person has to live with that trauma. They got to live with that PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, from almost dying their whole life. Then that person who attempted to kill them gets to just relax and until they can do it again. You know what I'm saying? If they were bold enough to try to kill someone, you know what I'm saying? How is it gonna change them by giving them less time? They don't value life, man. You know what I'm saying? And the way I look at this Charlie Kirk situation, if Trump does not declare a full 360, if other countries don't follow suit, you know what I'm saying? When I told guys about full-time ghosting, you know, you look at the thumbnail, you know, this is the situation we're in. You can't, I don't usually do a lot of streams. I don't get I don't get emotional. I don't get a lot of, energy, whatever. But, forget it. I'm gonna go full force. The thing you gotta understand is remove yourself from the sadness, the sorrow, and look at it. Look at this Charlie Kirk situation and say, man, what do they have to gain? What is this? What do they have to gain? And if you add it all up, you look at Conan 19. Conan 19 forced everyone to order their food online, DoorDash. You're no longer, you know, from Conan 19, everyone's been trained to order online. It's kind of like when we had the SARS epidemic, the SARS, the fear of SARS in the mail. It taught everyone to get you an email because if you open the wrong package, you might get SARS. So everyone got an email. So Conan 19 taught everyone to order online, right? So this Charlie Kirk situation is gonna teach everyone to if you're gonna run for office, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna run for office, if you're gonna run to change the government or represent a party, guess what? Your life is on the line. You know what I'm saying? You survive Conan 19, but you won't survive a billionaire paying someone like, what, let's say 10 grand to to hitman you, to Call of Duty you. This sends a new message. The new message is that, yeah, you survived Conan 19, you survived an epidemic, you survived the quarantine, but guess what you won't survive? When we hire an assassin to take you out. You know what I'm saying? This sends a message. If Trump, after this Charlie Kirk situation, does not completely come out and say, from now on, the government will no longer stand in the way of citizens being able to protect themselves. You know, the right to bear arms. Now, citizens that qualify can obtain weaponry because we got the right to bear arms, the First Amendment, right? You know what I'm saying? If you go to Texas, I was in Texas for like probably 2 weeks. You know, in Texas, you could get you a gun. You know what I'm saying? And while you were in Texas, everyone knows everyone's armed. So you don't want to play stupid, you know? You don't want to play stupid up here in Texas. Everyone's armed. So who are you gonna play stupid with? Everyone could take you out. You know. And this Charlie Kirk situation, if Trump doesn't, I'm gonna tell you this. This is for America. You know the whole MAGA movement, make America great again. You know what I'm saying? If Trump doesn't react with, we need to realize that to make America great, to make your country great, the men, the heterosexual men, the majority of men, the mass majority of men in your country can't be targeted for destruction. Cause look at this Charlie Kirk guy. This is a man who was married, had a wife, had a family. You know what I'm saying? And let me make sure I get a good photo. Let me get a photo of him. Yeah, let's see. Give me a second. Open the image. Let me open the image. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This was a married man. This was a heterosexual man with a family. And notice how you got all the news coverage when that man former, Call of Duty, the schools, they hid that. They hid it. Fox News hid it. All the news stations hid when it's a man former. You know what I'm saying? When it's a, LGBTQ plus whatever is the one taking people out, they hide it. But when it's a straight male who died, it's national coverage because they must promote that the news must always fully cover, always promote, put it in the face that the death of a straight male should be promoted and seen. You know what I'm saying? And you look at this, and this is where it gets a little racial. This is where it gets a little racial because I always tell guys that if you look at the black community and you look at what's happening, you'll see that this is not new. For example, you got the George Floyd, you had Mike Brown, you had all these black deaths. What the news always does is it shows it to you because it wants to, and it covers it. This black man died. This black man died because they want to promote that this is okay. This is like a fetish. This is like a fetish promotion that, oh man, you need your hit of some black guy dying. We got you. We're gonna put it all over the news because we will cover the death of a black dude like this. And what's happening now, you know, a lot of the white community in America thought they were immune. But the blacks are always the test subject. So now they're promoting this death. They will promote the death of this Charlie Kirk, all over because they want to show you that this is acceptable. It's acceptable to kill a family man, a heterosexual. Yeah, my bad, my bad. Oh, it's buffering. Oh, my bad. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, yeah, my bad, man. It's Streamlabs, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with Streamlabs, but this Charlie Kirk situation is you got to look at it as a fetish. You know what I'm saying? It's a fetish, man. They're promoting his death and they're not speaking up about what the man lost his family. Notice how they don't interview they don't give it a moment of silence. They don't show the family. They don't show how it hurts his community. They don't talk about his town. They make sure to put it right in the front. A heterosexual male was murdered. You know what I'm saying? And they make sure it's loud. They promote it. But when it's the opposite way, when it's someone in the Rainbow Rider community, which we've seen over 3 Call of Duties were by the Rainbow. And they don't mention that. They don't show it. They hide it. Or they just say, "Yeah, man, there was a person who Call of Duty the school, a person." They don't bring up their sexual orientation. They don't bring anything because with the heterosexual person, you know what I'm saying? With the yeah, well, thanks, man. With the heterosexual person, we already know. We could see from the image he was heterosexual, he was straight. We already know, we get that information. But when it comes to the opposite way, they hide all that. They got to conceal it that someone would, because you want to know why they conceal it. They don't want to admit that someone with body dysmorphia should not have access to weapons. If you wake up in the morning and say, "You know what? I was born what is that? I think what was that? Well, I mean, my thing is this, man. We could come up with the theories. I say we just look at it for what it is, and compare it. You look at, like I said, the Trump assassination attempt, And you look at the Trump assassination attempt and you say, man, he didn't change the laws. Like right now, I heard in Washington, D.C., Trump's got the National Guard. He's got the National Guard in he's heading to Chicago with the same thing because it's promoting that the government, only the government has the right to defend and protect, not the citizens. You know what I'm saying? Why are all the guys in the neighborhood that sell drugs are selling them, openly in the public and so on? Because they don't got to fear the ramifications from the average citizen. And then remember, now you can print guns. We got 3D printed guns. So in the streets now, there's a lot of people with 3D printed guns. You know what I'm saying? So you look at that and you see, man, this is all, in my opinion, when I look at it and I remove myself, this is just the government. And I always tell people this is the God government. We do not, in the West, we do not live in a government society, man. Yeah, 100%. Look at it holistically, bro. 100%. You look at it holistically. I always tell people, remove yourself, remove nationalism, remove your emotions, and just look at it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it for what it is holistically and you're not attached, I always tell people full-time ghosting, zero attachments. And you look at it, this only furthers the government is the only one that can defend and protect, can enact bearing arms. Think about it. Why would you, which one is more affordable? Sending the National Guard to a state to protect it, so-called protect it, aka spend more taxpayers' money, or as a government step away from not allowing citizens that qualify to bear arms. You know what I'm saying? But if they allowed that, it would be the government saying you citizens have the right to defend and protect yourselves. You know what I'm saying? You citizens have the right to defend and protect yourself. Yeah, look at what happened to Hurricane Katrina when people tried to stop thieves. The cops, National Guard came door to door and confiscated guns. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying what happened. You came in a little late, but what I've been saying throughout the whole stream is you look at his assassination, it's to send a message to the citizens that now you survived Conan 19. So you survived Conan 19. You're emboldened. You think it's the only threat to your life is a virus. You know what I'm saying? You think that that's the only threat. Now the government the government is sending a message that if you run for political office, your life is on the line. You know what I'm saying? That's really the message. You know what I'm saying? Because they took him out in broad daylight. They took him out in HD, man. Let me readjust this goddamn give me 1 second. Let me readjust this camera. There it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at it and say, man, you know, this this death was basically a message, a message to the citizen, a message to the citizen that if you think you can run for office without your life on the line, you're wrong. Because the way I look at this situation is that if Trump does not completely alter the laws and say, man, this is a national emergency. Because think about it. He was a right wing guy. He was pro pro Republican, whatever, he supported Trump. And here's the thing: another reason they took him out is that he was a content creator. There's something I said on my previous live stream. You know, I got to make a video about it, but I'm gonna tell you this, man. We're now in the pocket culture. We're in the pocket culture right now. And a lot of the people in the media understand that they can no longer, you know, they can no longer control the masses with one message. Like I was talking to some of the homies on the Discord, man, I don't really watch the news anymore. You know, I don't watch the news anymore. So unless someone I know tells me about this, I didn't know about it. I saw this Charlie Kirk situation all over YouTube. I just scrolled through it. You know, I'm like, okay, YouTube doing another trending topic. I didn't look into it until I went to work, and everyone at work brought up, "Oh man, did you see they assassinated Charlie Kirk?" And I'm like, what do you mean they assassinated someone? You know? And then I saw it and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not the average person, man. You know, you know what I'm saying? Doing content, uh, talking all these years, bro. I'm not in yeah, YouTube is on a full-time shadow banning. Yeah. Well, what's happening is YouTube has AI built into it. And the AI is now banning people. You know what I'm saying? Pretty soon, YouTube, I've been telling people this for a while, just to get off topic, is that YouTube will soon change what you've said on your comments. YouTube is realizing that when they delete your comments, guess what? They are they are basically potentially making you leave YouTube. You know what I'm saying? They're deterring you from participating on YouTube. So very soon YouTube will have the AI correct what you said. So if you comment, you know what, man, you guys are just trash. YouTube's gonna change it to you guys are okay. You get what I'm saying? YouTube will eventually start editing. It's already redubbing certain people's channels. That's why I tell people very soon when you live stream, you will not know what you're saying because YouTube is gonna, all these websites will basically have a millisecond delay where the AI can redub what you're saying live. All they need is less than a millisecond where the AI is so fast that you're saying hello and the AI changed it to goodbye. You know what I'm saying? But to get back to the Charlie Kirk, is that this is to send a message. What I was saying on a previous stream is that we're in the pocket culture. We're in the pocket culture, the pocket pop culture. What's happened is the mainstream is no longer needed. Oh, Mr. Beast. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, Mr. Beast is a part of the industry plants. You know what I'm saying? He's part of the industry garden tactic. You know, they're building a garden. You got Mr. Beast, and check out what happened with Mr. Beast. You know, one of his friends was talking to a minor. One of his friends was a man former. You know what I'm saying? They always get in trouble with the same things. It's either gonna be closet activity. You know what I'm saying? Closet activity. Uh, of course, messing with minors. Um, and then of course they're gonna promote closet activity, and of course they're gonna go to Africa to build some school or give water. Because one thing I tell people about the Mr. Beast situation is that him and Chris went all around Africa, right? They went all around Africa. They went to villages where those villages had no electricity, no internet. So what happened to those kids in those villages in Africa? You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people don't ask is what happened in those villages where there was no electricity? What happened when where the camera wasn't filming Chris? You know what I'm saying? What did he do in those villages? You know, they don't bring that up. But to get back on the Kirk situation. Oh, Myron Gaines, well, he's FBI, man. He's that YouTube let him YouTube kicked out Fresh and Fit, but Myron Gaines still has his FBI channel. You know what I'm saying? He's been from day one. You're telling me a guy quits the FBI before he retires and has enough money to live in Florida and just live stream for over what was it over 5 years without a job? Come on, man. We know what's happened, man. You know what I'm saying? We are there's so many, you know, plants, man. There's a lot of industry. The goal of the industry is to build industry. Shout out to the homie Kalala. He said industry field. They want to build not a field of dreams, a field of industry plants, But the thing is this, man. What's happening with this situation is that, to get back to what I was saying, is that we now live in a pocket culture and pocket pop culture. As in, we no longer watch or talk about what's outside of our pocket. Our pocket dimension is look at me, I'm live streaming. I'm on a Discord. A lot of the guys I talk to on the Discord, a lot of the homies, we or Nick Fuentes, we already know Nick Fuentes he's an industry plant. He says racist stuff. He's here to rile up blacks versus whites, the old propaganda. And then look at him. He's in the closet. Nick Fuentes was again with Destiny. Somehow Destiny gets over 1 million subs doing nothing and being a weirdo. And the same Destiny who came out the closet at age 30 plus, the same Destiny who before he fully came out the closet was talking about what's black pilled. You know what I'm saying? The same Destiny who came out the closet and was talking for straight men, dude, they all follow the same routine. It's gonna be they get all these massive views and sub counts. They get involved in closet activity, controversy. You know what I'm saying? What's happening is that it no longer affects us anymore. This is why the reason they took out uh what I'm saying, Charlie Kirk, is that we're now what I was trying to say is we're now in the pocket culture, and pocket pop culture is in we do not consume anything outside of our pocket. You know how they used to say, yo, hold the truth hostage, and all you guys are in a echo chamber. We're not in an echo chamber anymore. We're in a pocket. As in, if you guys don't mention something, I don't know what happened because I'm not watching the mainstream. I don't watch the news, man. You know what I'm saying? I know how the news works. Oh, they're going to show whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? The same news anchors that are on movies. How can a news anchor be in a movie? You know what I'm saying? I was watching a movie and you see a CNN news anchor. The real news anchor is in The Waterboy. The real news anchor is in a movie. So you're telling me a news anchor is an actor in a movie, but I'm not supposed to believe he's an actor when he's working for the news station? The only news I trust now, and I barely trust, is the weather. That's all I watch, bro. The weather, man. You know what I'm saying? 24/7, 365 time loop. Yeah. The thing is, bro, I only look at the weather, man. Whenever I go on my phone, like the phone already knows. I go on Google search and the weather is the top thing. That's all I look for. I look at the weather. That's the only thing, and I look at some, tech news. That's it, bro. I don't look at the news, man. How the hell Wolf Blitzer and all these CNN people gonna tell me, well, today a young man was shot and murdered? Okay, what about you always talk about sexuality and identity. What was the identity and the sexuality of this young man? Well, he was a young man. Um, yeah, that's all we can say. He was a young man, and he Call of Duty the whole school. He Call of Duty the whole church. What was his sexuality? You always like to bring up sexualities, genders, but you never do it when it's the people that committed uh, a Call of Duty and they happen to represent a gender and identify as a they, them. You never bring that up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me see what the homie. Yeah, I get my news on 4chan. Yeah. We don't get what's happening is, bro, we are in a pocket culture. And another reason we're in a pocket culture, I plan to touch up on this maybe on a video or something, but we now get, for example, I'm a millennial. A millennial, we used to, for you to make it to be a celebrity, you had to go through Hollywood. For you to get support, funding, money, whatever, you had to go to Hollywood. Now you can Zelle people, you can Cash App people, you can PayPal people, you can GoFundMe, you can Patreon people. What do you need the mainstream for? You don't need them, man. And what this has created, especially for us men, is that it's created a pocket culture where we are now putting ourselves in a pocket dimension. And it's more like our own subcultures, and we only grow from the inside. We don't look for the outside anymore. We don't look for resources on the outside anymore. We now grow from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? From within the pocket, and we expand within, and the pocket might grow, but we stay within our pocket. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, YouTube is mainstream. Yeah, YouTube's been mainstream, but now, bro, you have Patreon. You can create your own websites. There's alternatives. Like, for example, YouTube. YouTube suspended my monetization because YouTube didn't want people to support me publicly. So what I did is I was like, you know what, man, I started a GoFundMe to help me re-upload my content on my future website, because YouTube, of course I could have said, here, go to the Cash Apps and all that crap, but I know the reason they removed my monetization. They didn't like that people could support me in the public, because the most dangerous thing to a public brand is when the counter messaging is supported in the public eye. You know what I'm saying? You supporting someone in the public does more damage. I was in the manosphere. I won't mention pages or whatever, but I remember, when all the beef started. I remember when Smash TV got monetized. When it got monetized, all of a sudden the hatred amplified. Everyone that had beef with MD and Scribe came at them like a tornado. You know what I'm saying? Came at them like a tornado, because now the public, the most dangerous thing about the reason they didn't fear the black pill, or didn't worry about the black pill, was that oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, dude, oh yeah, YouTube said I was copying my content, bro. It was the funniest thing I ever seen in my life. YouTube sent me a message. They said it was one of those YouTube engineers, man. You know, I got somebody I spoke to told me that some people are paying YouTube engineers, man, for them views, for their views and for their growth. Dude, the industry and the bots are everywhere, man. You know what I'm saying? There are more bots than there are real people, but let me get back to the Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Take another sip for Charlie Kirk. But the thing is, dude, some people are connected to YouTube engineers. A YouTube engineer sent me a message and told me, "Hold the truth hostage. You're a jerk. You're a threat." You know what I'm saying? Because these YouTube engineers knew I was talking about their life. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about how cucked out they are. You know how pink pilled they are. That somewhere out there there's a YouTube engineer that his wife came home crying and said, "Oh, the man didn't accept the blowjob. He only hit it from the back." And he hugs his wife and sleeps with her covered in the ranch dressing of another man. You know what I'm saying? It hurt them, man. It hurt their feelings, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you believe in a dead internet? Yeah, dude, the internet is been dead because I learned this that you can't like for example, I run my own company. I'm making books, comic books. You know, I'm trying to help a lot of kids learn to read and all that stuff. You know, the internet is a scam. I learned the scam when I was on Facebook. So I would run ads on Facebook and Facebook would show you got 1,000 views, but nobody responded because there's a lot, not only are there a lot of bots, but you're paying Facebook to promote your content on their website where they can decide whether you get seen or not. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest scam, I saw a website once where they said run your ads with this software because it blocks the bots. There are bots online that will eat up your ad space. And I'm gonna give you a big scam that a lot of people aren't talking about on YouTube online is that what happens is you pay an ad agency, right? Let's say you pay an ad agency, let's say 20 grand. Let's say you paid an ad agency 20 grand, right? To run ads and help you get your ads up. What's stopping that ad agency from spending out of that 20 grand, $2,000 on bots to make it look like you got a lot of views? You know what I'm saying? The internet, the biggest scam of the internet is trying to prove to you that the internet is the only option. When the truth is, the outside world, you got a better chance of succeeding and promoting the people outside. You're going to end up online anyway. Dude, I've gone viral and I didn't even know it. I went viral on I think X or TikTok because I was working at a bar and I was dancing with a chick. And somebody told me, "Yo, man, you know you're going viral on X or TikTok for dancing with some chick." And I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't know, man, because the offline leads to online. Real life leads to the internet anyway. The scam of the internet is trying to tell you that you can't end up online when you're offline. That's a goddamn lie, you know? But to get back to the Charlie Kirk situation is that if Trump doesn't act, man, you know, think about it. Trump's been in office for over 6 months. They attempted to assassinate him, and what he did is he called the National Guard to protect himself, insulate himself in protection. You know what I'm saying? But now if he doesn't change the law nationwide, and what I mean by change the law is that the government should no longer be targeting citizens or allowing or promoting. The government should not be deciding whether you can bear arms. The government should not be deciding who you can or can't marry. That should be up to the states. You know what I'm saying? Up to the states. And what's happened with this Charlie Kirk situation is if you're the leftist party that was promoting all this insanity, you know what I'm saying, all this closeted activity since the 2010s, they're celebrating this. A heterosexual male, a cis male, whatever they want to call it, insults, got murked, got Call of Duty, you know, and they love it. And this is a sign for them that if, they're basically saying, all you right wingers, if you run for office, all you normal people, if you run for office, this could be you. And the reason I bring up the pocket uh, culture and pocket pop culture is that this Charlie Kirk guy built enough of a following that he could amass thousands of people while he was giving speeches, and he could amass thousands. You know what I'm saying? The leftists, which are no longer popular, the leftists who basically, since Biden, since Obama was basically the most pro-closeted president of all time. You know what I'm saying? No one has put America in a closet tighter than Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? No one's promoted the closet as a president than Barack Obama, man. You know? So what's happened is, man, the leftists who have bred their following, the liberals who have bred their following on not having children, being absolutely antisocial, being on medication 24/7, bragging about how many babies they've Call of Duty in the womb. They no longer have a functionable, appealing or normal voting, a voting group. Ain't no leftist could knock on my door and say, come vote Democratic. And you know what I'm saying? And they're wearing a shirt that said, I've deleted 17 babies. Oh my bad. I've baby wiped 17 children in the womb. The leftists no longer have a viable voting group. Their whole group is nothing more than insane people, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you look at all the leftists losing their mind online, one of them got fired that was writing a comic book that should have never been hired anyway for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. The leftists are absolutely unhinged, borderline insane. They're not functionable human beings. They're the complete promotion of destruction. Another thing I bring up is think about this. You know? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I call it baby wipes. You don't want to use that word the abort. You want baby wipes. You have think about this, bro. And I remember I think it was Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb. Yeah, bro, I know, man. SP, I know, right? It's baby wipes. Uh, it can't be blocked. Baby wipes. You know what? YouTube's gonna block the word baby wipe. They're gonna block all their Pampers commercials, baby wipes. You know, the baby wipe clinics. You know what I'm saying? They can't block that word. Like they can't block closet. You know. But the leftists, think about it, bro. This is how insane it is. I remember Corey Holcomb said this joke. He said he took a woman to a baby wipe clinic. He was listening to 50 Cent, Many Men Wish Death Upon Me. And the woman said, oh, I can't deal with all this music about death and murder. And Corey Holcomb said, you're the only murderer in this car. You know what I'm saying? Think about the leftists. They've built an entire following on people that grow a defenseless child in the womb, then baby wipe it. The only act of murder which is legal is within the womb. And then you have these people walking around that knowingly baby wipe, you know what I'm saying? Baby wipe. They're on their third, they're on their fifth baby wipe, 10th baby wipe, 11th, some 20 baby wipes, because a lot of women are using baby wiping as contraceptives now. You know what I'm saying? The fathers have no influence on their daughters anymore anyway. That's why I did a stream on Rumble, which I'm going to re-upload here, where I tell you, man, fathers are no longer respected. Fathers have no value, in a country where, what I'm saying, it's illegal to be a father. Let me see the UK. What's the law, bro? The law in the UK says 9 months you can still baby wipe. God, dude, SP in New York, they say you could baby wipe the day before. You could baby wipe the day before. Let me see. Ben Shapiro said he's gonna pick up the bloodstained microphone of Charlie Kirk's voice going. Yeah. Well, Ben Shapiro, man, he showed what he is during the war. I can't say much. He showed what he is. Ben Shapiro's a full blown well, guys, if you vote for Trump, Ben Shapiro is worthless, man. That's another reason they're celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, is that they're celebrating the death of the the pocket culture, pocket community leader. You know what I'm saying? They now know that everyone now creates their own pocket. We're in a pocket community. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all tell me, I'm listening to. I don't listen to the news or CNN. If CNN told me yesterday a man was found with a snake around his neck. You know what I'm saying? That's a good new way of saying it. Instead of a rope, a snake. Instead of a rope, a snake, man. You know, there was a man with a snake around his neck, and he fell off the top of a building, and he's still dangling off that building with that snake around his neck. You know what I'm saying? Wait, no, actually, a scarf. Yeah, that's a better word. That's the new slang right now, a scarf. You know what I'm saying? A scarf goes around your neck. You know. You know what I'm saying? They will. Ben Shapiro is just pure garbage, man. There's a lot of them. He's an industry. I think he's an industry plant, man. We already know. You know what I'm saying? And you know, silly women. You knew I was a snake before you. Well, I mean, you look at I was talking to somebody about the snake. The snake that so-called gave Adam Eve the apple, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You look at this society and it's proof. I was talking to some of the homies on the Discord, is that you got to understand the laws were written and made by men. And and check this out, because a lot of manosphere, a lot of channels around the manosphere, they're too attached to their emotions. The most delusional, over emotional right now, the men. But the laws are written from our perspective as men. The women cannot survive a male law. The law of man destroys a woman because it puts the responsibility of man on a woman, and a woman can't function. Like, I'll give you an example. We hear this all the time online. A lot of these women will say, and this is a sign that they're infected with the male perspective, that they're trying to be men because they can't cope. They can't compute and process man's law. You'll hear women say, I gotta find myself. I gotta find myself. And guys online will say, oh, that means she's sleeping around, and the basics, the surface level information. a lot of guys don't understand that these women are playing a man's game. A man has enough time to go find himself. If the homie SP told me, yo man, I gotta go find myself, bro. I'm gonna go wander the country until I find myself. And I'm gonna be like, all right, dude, congrats, bro. Go do that, man. I hope you well. Hope you safe travels. SP could leave and travel around the country for 6 years. Guess what? SP comes back and can still have children. He can still get a woman pregnant. The women are playing by men's rules. The women don't get that once they turn 18, as in once they become a woman 18 years old, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking towards infertility, and a lot of women have been scammed to believe that their infertility starts in their 30s. They don't know that some of y'all will be infertile by 25. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the women don't understand that if they have to get married as soon as possible. It's literally for their safety. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as a woman turns, let's say, and I'm gonna give you an example. You know, a woman is 18 in 6 months, right? Let's say she's 18 in 6 months, as in she's 18 years old in 6 months. That means she's older than the woman that just turned 18. You know what I'm saying? The women don't get it that their clock is ticking. You know what I'm saying? Us men, on the other hand, you could come back at age 45 and say, you know what, now I want to start a family. At 45, if a guy comes and says, I want to start a family, you're not gonna look at him crazy unless you're a emasculated, pink-pilled man. The pink pillar will say, "Oh man, you're too old to have kids. You're 45, dude. He's a man. If you're a man and a woman's gonna spend most of the time raising a kid anyway, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time you're gonna give that raising duty to the woman. So at 45, you want to start a family. Nothing weird about that at all. You know what I'm saying? I've seen guys at 50 years old. That's when they started their family. You know, a man has a long time to start his family. The women are playing by a man's rules. It's like I told guys years ago, men play basketball and football. You know, we can pause our sexuality. We can say, time out, time out, I'm gonna time out my sexuality. So I'm gonna be celibate. I'm gonna be celibate for the next 5, 10 years as a man. You know, you're celibate. I'm gonna be on a celibate journey, or I'm gonna go in the forest or something for the next 10 years. And let's say that man turned he's 18 years old, and he says, you know what, I'm gonna be celibate for the next 10 years. It's a test that I want to take. So he becomes 28. You know, let's say a woman's been celibate for 10 years. She's lessened her value. The women have been trained to pursue the life of a man. And it's all over. They try to live like men. They even eat like men. I did a stream years ago where I explained to you that now living with a woman is like, you know, trying to feed another man. They eat the same amount of food as men when they're not supposed to. That's why these women are all walking around buffalo built, piglet built. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're walking around that big. They now eat exactly the same portions as men, even though their bodies were not designed for that. You know what I'm saying? A woman's body is mostly far more fat than muscle compared to us. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that the women are eating like men is why most of them are obese and overweight, built like a buffalo hippo. Man, I saw a woman shout out to the homie Kalala. He might be making fun of me after this, but I saw a woman that was manatee built. You know what I'm saying? I saw MBW, manatee built woman. You know what I'm saying? Like her whole body was just enormous, and she had these small ass legs and fat ass arm, looked like a manatee. You know what I'm saying? I saw a manatee built woman. I saw you see a hippo built woman. I see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? And another built woman, I see a bullfrog built woman. There's a lot of those, man. Look up a bullfrog, man, when you get the chance. I've seen a lot of that. But the reason they're celebrating the death of or the rise of the fupa, oh dude, I see the fupa everywhere, man. It's nasty. I don't call it a fupa, I call it a pouch. There's a lot of women walking around with a pouch. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a goddamn kangaroo pouch. You know what I'm saying? Like you could see a woman with a so-called fupa, a pouch, and you could picture like a goddamn wallaby or a kangaroo baby living in there. You know what I'm saying? It's not even human. Or remember that dude from remember Krang. Remember Krang from let me search Krang for 1 second. Let me find that image. Let me look up Krang. Krang TMNT. You know what I mean? Let me look up Krang. Give me 1 second. Because when you see this, you're gonna be like, dude, I see the vision, man. I see it. This is what I see, man. You know what I'm saying? Take a look at this. Let me make it a little bigger. Yeah, give me 1 second. Man, I gotta delete something. Give me 1 second. Yeah, check this out, dude. Tell me you don't see this, man. Give me 1 second. Let me Yeah, man, I see this all the time, bro. Tell me you don't see Krang from TMMT. Those women with those fupas, like if they look like they're carrying a Krang. You know what I'm saying? In their you know what I'm saying, that pouch. It looks crazy. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me get out of that Krang quick. Yeah. But like I said, they're celebrating the death of you know what I'm saying, of Charlie Kirk, because they look at it that the top of the pocket pop culture, because he had his own channel, he has his own YouTube, he has his own massive following. You know, that's why they're celebrating his death. You know what I'm saying? And the leftists have lost their mind anyway. And the way I look at Trump right now, if Trump does not announce a massive amount of executive orders where anyone that suffers body dysmorphia, you're not allowed to have a gun. You know what I'm saying? If you have chosen to be a man former, if you had a transition, you can't carry weapons anymore. You're not mentally fit. You know what I'm saying? To have a weapon. You know, we need, because here's the thing: Charlie Kirk's death could have been avoided. You know, if it was legally allowed, like America used to be. That's where Trump's like, if Trump's saying make America great again, if you're gonna make America great again, you gotta go back to when men were actually the heterosexual man was allowed to lead, was allowed to have authority. You know what I'm saying? Every day I see Elon Musk, who's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk, who's smart, yeah, he's making $1 trillion, but when it comes to social intelligence, when it comes to social awareness, Elon Musk is as smart as he's socially adept as a apple trying to hang around with some damn pears. You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk is crying every day. Oh my God, the the birth rate is down because Elon's about business. He sees the birth rate plummeting, that there'll be less sales of Tesla. But Elon had a connection to the president of America, and instead of, the so-called Elon who's promoting the birth rate is down, and congrats to my full-time ghost brothers, man. Let me hide this, man. I'm gonna take a shot of that. What I'm saying, that cracking to the full-time ghost, man. You know, zero birth rates, man. We're doing great. You know, each time the birth rate drops, a man celebrates. You know what I'm saying? Because the government thought, you know what, we could do everything, anything we want, but guess what? The men won't have children. You know, that's the countermeasure. The men won't have kids. You know, every time the birth rate drops, you know what I'm saying? That's why I've been telling guys we've been winning, man. Men do not lose, man. We win. And the birth rate dropping is a celebration. You know what I'm saying? It's a celebration. You know what I'm saying? Men should just, what you should do as a hobby every day, look at the birth rate. Look at the birth rate drop and just be, oh man, we're doing good, boys. We're doing good. I guess all those women, I guess all those leftist liberals, they put the fate of the country in that just love baby wiping. You know what I'm saying? Love baby wiping. You know what I'm saying? Aren't creating leftist babies. Let me see. Funny thing is Grok reported the Kirk event as a meme. Yeah. Well, I mean, a meme is, they're gonna meme about it, but the thing is with this Kirk situation is he will either be a martyr or he will be the meaning of the end, because America right now is vulnerable, extremely vulnerable. America, what's happened to America, London, you look at London, you look at France is burning, I don't, you know, I got my issues with France. It is what it is. But you look at all the West is burning. The West is on fire. You know what I'm saying? All of these Western countries and have shown their why they supported 9/11. You know, the reason when 9/11 happened and all these countries went to war with the Middle East is that they were plotting years ago. They were plotting to basically destroy the Middle East so they could replace their domestics. So they could replace their domestic population with deprived, uh, what I'm saying, refugees that come from countries that are, many are highly illiterate or inbred, whatever you want to call it. They wanted to replace their population with a lot of refugees. That's why they destabilized the Middle East. The goal was to turn the refugees to their own population to choke out their domestic population. That was the plan. The plan was use the refugees to choke out your domestic population. But they were kind of copying the slavery method. They thought, you know what? If we destroy their homeland and they come here, we can fast track them into adapting and assimilating to our country. What they didn't understand is slavery, for example, American slavery had a lot of different elements. You enslaved a certain group of people, you know what I'm saying, for hundreds of years. You remove their rights to the point where they don't even remember their origin anymore. They don't remember their origin. So now you can completely reboot them. You can have them like how you got a lot of blacks being Christians, you know what I'm saying? Because of, their slave master placed that in their mind and all that crap. And you can basically have them assimilate. You look at the black community, including myself and everybody, we assimilated. You get your own culture here and there, but you assimilate. But what these countries are hoping, like London, Spain and all Brazil, all these countries that are pumping refugees into their country. America at one point, which was pumping refugees and illegals, is was hoping that these refugees and illegals would assimilate. They would want the American dream. They would want the dream of a Londoner, of an Irishman. They would want the dreams of these people. But what they didn't get is that you brought in all these refugees when their culture is perfectly stable within their mind. So you bring in all these refugees into this country, illegals, whatever, and they want to turn your country to their country because they're stable. And these politicians knew that when immigrants come here willingly, when they immigrate to this country, you'll see Chinatown, you'll see Tokyo Town, you'll see you know what I'm saying, Little India, you'll see all these towns that are based around the culture that these people migrated from. You know what I'm saying? Because their cultures were intact when they left their country. But when you have the the black slave like in America, which you have black slavery where you completely destabilized and deleted and removed their culture, now you can have them assimilate. They'll have their own identity, but they'll be assimilating to make up for the culture they lost. But all the immigrants that are coming, all the illegals and refugees you're porting into your country, their culture is still stabilized. So now they want to completely reform your country to theirs. And what's happening is, and I talked about this on the Discord, is that what's happening is America's becoming a third world. You know what I'm saying? A third world country. What happens when you import a mass amount of people from a third world country? Guess what? They see your country's paradise the way it is. If I come from a country where there are no traffic lights, there are no roads, there's nothing, then you bring me here where there's roads. I'm gonna be, dude, the country's perfect. There's roads. There's traffic lights. We don't need to advance. This is the best thing on earth. We have electricity. We have roads. The country is perfect just the way it is. It does not need to advance. And this is why you have America reverting to a third world country. This is why you have certain sectors in America where you're like, man, it still looks like the 80s. It still looks like the 70s or whatever. Because what's happened is when you mass import a lot of people from a third world country where their standards are still that third world, they just see a road, they see electricity, they see a hospital. Oh, we good. We don't need to change nothing. It's perfect the way it is. And then I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I'll eventually touch up on this on another stream, but then you add in the internet. You know, you add in Wi-Fi. For example, we all got cell phones. Look at your cell phone for a second. You know, the cell phone is literally when man stopped innovating its society. Think about, look at your phone, man. You know, I got my phone on the screen. Look at your phone. Hold your phone for a second. Notice what you're holding on your phone. Think about it. You upgrade your phone every 2 months. I mean, every 2 years, right? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You update your phone, but society doesn't update. Society, the houses, the way they build houses, the way they build bridges doesn't have to change because the phone can self update where society doesn't need to change anymore. Think about it. Before the cell phone, society was constantly evolving. You know what I'm saying? Building structures were changing because we were always looking on the exterior, you know, as a whole. How do we make houses better? How do we make everything around us better? But now you have the cell phone. Yes, it's a supercomputer with AI, it's a computer in your pocket and all that, but also the cell phone is the main reason why you go look outside in the roads and nothing has changed, because you don't need to change it. It doesn't affect the cell phone. So your cell phone goes from 4G to 5G to 6G, but guess what? When your phone goes 4G to 6G, we don't need to rebuild apartments. We don't need to rebuild houses and all that stuff. The cell phone is literally potentially the key to why society, the environment hasn't changed as much, why everything is slowed down on a societal aspect. Because as long as the phone keeps advancing, who cares if your house isn't tornado proof, isn't earthquake proof? We don't need to advance society anymore. We could just advance the goddamn phone. Let me see what the homie you know what I'm saying? Oh, Red was good, man. My brother was good. Yeah, oh, 4G, yeah, 5G, 6G, man. They just need to update the phones, man. Let me see what the homie what's the homie put up? Magmax. The key is to live away from major cities. Immigrants congregate in major cities. I live in a small town in the woods, and the surrounding towns are the same demographics. Yeah, but the problem with that, I'm good, dog. We here, man. We trying, man. We just here making it, trying to live, man. Trying to follow some plans, and very soon I'm starting like two new channels that I'll cover some different stuff here and there, technology, AI. I got some plans, but I'm doing what I can, bro. You know what it is, you know. Well, the thing with that you know, Mogmaxer, is that the problem with this is that what's happening is, as they overinflate the illegal immigrant situation and all that, it's gonna eventually hit the small towns, and not from a perspective of they're moving to the small towns, but that the lack of resources are now gonna hit the small towns when it comes to rebuilding and certain resources. You know, you gotta look away from just the people coming to live where you're at. You gotta look at the side effects. Cause I was looking at when Joe Biden immigrated all over 20, what was it, over 20 million illegal immigrants from New York, Texas, and all that stuff. And I was thinking, like, who benefits from this? You want to know who benefits? The auto insurance industry benefits. Because when a illegal gets in a car accident, now they can raise the rates. You know what I'm saying? The medical industry benefits from somebody illegal, overdosing on drugs or alcohol, and they go to the hospital without any coverage, and now raises the price. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are benefiting, but what's happening to America is that America's becoming if not the third world, a 2.8 world, because the country has destroyed. I remember talking to one of the homies up here where they said they had all these wars to wipe out the national Americans, the Americans with national pride. They sent them to war. I was talking to somebody, he said World War II, World War III, a lot of these wars were designed to destroy the most patriotic of their countries. Think about that. That could potentially mean World War II, all these wars. And remember how these countries become allies and so on. Maybe a lot of these wars, were all designed at the end to just wipe out patriots from all countries, wipe them out. You know what I'm saying? And then think about what happened after Vietnam. As soon as the soldiers came back to America, they started the propaganda that soldiers are insane. They're crazy. They've lost their mind. Even though during World War II, soldiers would come home so thankful for the peace, they'd go back to somewhat of a normal life because they didn't want soldiers who who fought for their country to have an impact. That's why they didn't give those soldiers benefits or protected them, gave them money. That's why they starved them out, let them go homeless and all that stuff because the last thing they wanted was for the American citizen to idolize soldiers. You know what I'm saying? It was all about stripping the stability of the heterosexual male. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see, Joe Biden should have immigrated a brand new brain since his don't work. Well, Joe Biden was nothing more than the Trojan horse. Joe Biden, like I told people on a live stream, was proof that you could run the country with a nearly dead body. Also, Joe Biden's the proof that the government will not change the law when it comes to the age limit or even the fitness, the mental fortitude. You know, they could run the country with a dead body if they wanted. You know, let me see what the homie Margaret said. Women benefit from immigration, specifically male immigration. Well, no, they don't. I'm gonna tell you something in the manosphere, man. We gotta remove. That's why I tell guys you got a full-time ghost, man. Watch those Casper Pill 2.0 videos, Casper Pill 1.0. Watch the full-time ghosting. You got to understand that the women in America are deteriorating and they're running out. Why do you think all these women are making this simp hunting content? The women are desperate. The women that used to wait for Chads and Tyrones, let's say a week, they're now waiting for their hit of Chad and Tyrone a month, 2 months, a year. They're losing access to Chads. The Chads are no longer having children no more. And remember, the Chads are nothing more. Chads and Tyrones are no more than what is it, less than 2% of the population. They're no longer having children, man. Imagine, look at a Chad and a Tyrone like a drug. You know what I'm saying? They've completely demoralized and removed male authority. Fathers have no more authority anyway. So all the daughters, and I've seen it, man. It's a nightmare, man. It is horrifying to see fathers with no ounce of manhood in their fucking mind, man. You dress your little daughter like that. It is sickening, man. You know what I'm saying? When you work at a job where you just see a father come with his daughter and he's got his freaking daughter wearing leggings at an age that it just it boggles your mind, man. It makes you want to just pull out some baby powder and slap them to the grave, man. You know what I'm saying? Introduce them to Johnson and Johnson, family company, man. It's sickening out there, bro. It is nasty, man. You're watching those what they call that babe what is it called? The pageants. You see the pageants. I remember that show they used to have. I never watched it. It was something pageants, dude. All the fathers are dressing up their daughters like their wives, man. It is nasty, bro. It is sickening, man. The shit you see now, you're like, dude, that's your daughter. She's like fucking, she's freaking 4 or 5 years old, man. Cover up your daughter, man. What the fuck are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? But what can you say? What can you do? You're like you see a father dressing up his daughter like the mother. The mother's dressed up like a fucking whore. You know what I'm saying? Whored out. Thought it out, man. The mother's dressed up straight up you know, GTA, man. Straight up whored out, street meat. You know what I'm saying? And then the daughter, they're dressing up their daughters. It's a nightmare, man. It's a nightmare, bro. The shit I've seen, man. it makes you look at this society and you're like, man, some of these people, there's no hope, man. They're no longer human. They're no longer humane. You know what I'm saying? They're no longer humane, man. They don't have an ounce of humanity in them anymore. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, man, what about the trafficking of, you know, children and all that? You're like, man, of course trafficking is up. These guys are dressing up their little daughters like a freaking like she's gonna be working the streets, man. It's a nightmare, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm so thankful I can blur my vision. There are times where you just blur your vision. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my job and you got to blur your vision to not look at anything, to not see nothing because it's crazy, bro. It is crazy. You got a father walking his daughter, man. It's then even the sons. You're watching it live, the sacrifice of the children, the sacrifice of you know what I'm saying, their humanity. I'm gonna tell you a story, man. This story is peak insanity. So I was working at a spot. So this woman came up. Like she had to be like maybe 36 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Plasticed out. She had the BBL, the lip injections, looking like a goddamn fish, looking like a fish from Finding Nemo. You know what I'm saying? A fish, man. And what was crazy was one of her daughters was 18, right? So she had two daughters. One daughter is 18, and her daughter that's 18, she paid for her to get the BBL. You know what I'm saying? And you look at her daughter, they all came in, and you're like, so she paid for one of her daughter's BBLs. And then you look at the younger sister that's, you know, looking at her sister and her mother, and you're like, they're gonna pass on this destruction to her, man. This is crazy, man. This is insanity, man. This is crazy, bro. Mm. You know what I'm saying? It is insane, man. You saw two she gave one of her daughters a BBL, and then her other daughter who's younger is just looking at her sister and her mother like, man, you know, like they're gonna do the same thing to her, man. And you're like, man, this is just horrific, man. This is a nightmare in real life, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ask why are horror films no longer scary anymore? How could I be scared of a damn horror film when you're watching these mothers volunteer and give me a second. Let me look up the survival rate of a BBL. Give me a minute. Let me look up the survival rate. Let me look up the AI survival rate of BBL in uh out of 10. Let me see. I'm looking for the Brazilian butt lift survival rate. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. Let me share the screen. You know, yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Didn't a woman die after her eighth BBL? Oh man, eighth. Yeah, their body dysmorphic. And you think about the westernized woman, man. Th- their body is gone. Their mind is gone. They're openly celebrating having you know what I'm saying, celebrating having baby wipes, and then they're having all these BBLs. But check this out. I'm reading a statistic. You know what I'm saying? Based on current medical, the survival rate of a Brazilian butt lift is approximately 9.99 out of 10, meaning a vast majority of patients survive. But the most and reliable studies show Mortality rates 1 out of 14,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? People are dying either way. You know what I'm saying? Perplexity is I don't know what's going on, but perplexity is didn't show the whole scope, whatever. But yeah, but the thing is, bro, you see it. Women pass on their insecurities to their daughters. If the father isn't around, the woman will pass on her insecurity. And you see that where I saw it in real time, bro. Her sister just turned 18 and her mom got her BBL. And the BBL looks crazy. It looks, I call it an experiment. It looks like a goddamn experiment. And then you see her younger sister who hasn't been forced to get a BBL yet. And you're like, man, she's gonna pass it on to her daughters. And this woman was divorced, recently divorced. Whole face looks like plastic surgery, fake lips. She looks like she's not even alive. You know what I'm saying? And you look at it and you're like, she's gonna pass this on to her daughter, man. The destruction. This is the West, man. You know what I'm saying? This is where this is why I hear guys complaining like, oh man, the women want chat. You mean these women that have fantasized about baby wiping, that are both mentally, physically dysmorphic? They're destroyed, man. They are nothing more. Most women in the West, and I saw it in real life. I saw a chick. I was talking to this chick, and she just said out of nowhere, I don't think I want to live. Like she said, I don't think I want to live, and I'm looking at her like, this is the side effect of not having male leadership. And then the next day she comes back and says, you know what, I just need to make some money and be rich. And her whole approach to life, you're like, man, the women of the West don't even want uh a man. They don't want to know. They don't want the security, the protection, the leadership of a man. They've been trained to be absolute consumers. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you get in a long-term relationship. All you're gonna be doing is spending, 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 spending. You know what I'm saying? It's a consumeristic, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna retire early? You're trying to retire. Think about the narrative that most men in a relationship will tell you, oh, I'm going to try to retire early. Then why the hell did you buy a house that big? Why are you spending all this money if your goal is to retire early? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to retire early by spending yourself to the grave? You know what I mean? That's most men now. Oh man, I got to work myself to death. I got the wife, and you're like, man, the way you're moving makes no sense. But and again, the woman is the leader anyway. But to get back, one more thing I'll say this is that's why you look at guys here where you're like, man, they're struggling for relationships. Who wants a relationship with with a woman that's probably had a few baby wipes? You know what I'm saying? And she knows how it's like to think about this, bro. She knows how it's like to grow something to unalive it from the womb. Think about that. She would grow something within her when it's most defenseless, and then wipe it. You know, this is what you want to start a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? You're insane. This is what you want to start a relationship with. Then the others that have tossed their body around. And like I've been saying, a lot of the women now, because they're absolute consumers and they've been trained to chase money, in the scam, the biggest lie is all these women say, I want six figures and this and that, the money, but their boss doesn't make six figures. The women, that's why I tell guys, women do not, a lot of their talking is you can't listen to face value. You know, they'll say six figures. No, women want a man with authority. How come if a woman said, 600,000, a man has to make six figures? How come the women are listening to a boss that's making 40 grand a year, making 50 grand a year, 30 grand a year, 90 grand a year? Because that man has authority. You know what I'm saying? The reason women set a price on the average man is that you have no authority. You know what I'm saying? You don't have authority like her boss. That's why years ago I made a video about the boss, women following their boss leadership over their husbands and all that stuff, you know? That's why I made that years ago. The women here, man, it's like I was saying, I was talking to a chick. She had like, I don't know, man, this chick I'm looking at her and I'm like, man, it's one of those situations where you're looking at her and you're like, man, she might be lucky to make it to 27. You know what I'm saying? That scarf, man. She's gonna buy that scarf. You know, she's gonna put that scarf on one day. You know, and she ain't coming back. Because you see the depression. She wants a man so bad, but the training. What I tell a lot of men is that there is literally over $1 billion spent, probably over $1 billion spent per second on advertising to women that they should only be loyal to the corporations and the government. You know what I'm saying? Over $1 billion spent every second to hour. You know what I'm saying? And I saw this chick, she was depressed, and the next day she reabsorbed the propaganda and said, "No, you know what? I don't need a man or none of that. I just need the money." And what's happened to a lot of these women, and what's insane is that a lot of these women have been trained to be waiting on a rich man, you know what I'm saying, while they sleep around with the poor man. A lot of guys think it's Chad Tyrone. No, bro. They've been trained that you should sleep around until you get the rich man. And the funny thing is the rich man ain't coming to a poor neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? No rich man is gonna say, I'm gonna go to a bodega for the best quality of food instead of Whole Foods. I'm gonna go to a bodega instead of Key Foods. I'm gonna go to a bodega instead of what's that new super expensive supermarket? I heard it's called Wyons or Wyon or whatever the hell it is. A lot of these women have been trained psychologically. It's waiting on a rich man, sleeping around, and I plan to do another stream on dating and the simulation. You know what I'm saying? Because let me show you something quick. A quick stream. Let me go to Discord. In fact, no, I'll do that another time. Do that another time. But the women right now, man, they've been trained to just await a rich man. And then the thing is this: the rich man they'll get is bait to get a richer man. That's how they've been designed. Get one rich guy to get access to a richer man. You know what I'm saying? Just keep climbing up that rich guy's ladder. Just one rich guy will lead them to access a richer guy. That's how it works. It's an infinite loop until their destruction because women can't comprehend men's law. You know what I'm saying? Unless men are in absolute position of leadership and stability, the women get corrupted, man. You know what I'm saying? And what's happened is the amount of women that are self-destructing and living a lie is insane. You'll hear these women say, "I want to save the planet," and you're like, you're wearing fake eyelashes. You're wearing fake hair that's gone through chemicals, and you're gonna throw it away eventually, man. You know what I'm saying? The women, the level of corruption in the West It's like I tell guys, man, you will not find a non-processed woman. And even if you do, it's now a countdown. It's a countdown to when she no longer allows you to experience her being stable. You know what I'm saying? Her being stable anymore. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. I gotta see something. What's going on? Oh, wow, it replenished. Oh, that's great. Oh, wow. Oh, that's all. Yeah, so a lot of them are mentally and psychologically broken, and they're in the process. But to get back to the Charlie Kirk thing is this, man. If President Trump doesn't announce a complete reordering, man, this is I think we're at the end. We're at the end of the road, man. Till the end of the road. You know, because if he doesn't take action with executive orders it's now illegal for anybody with body dysmorphia to even touch a gun. You can't be trusted. If you can't trust your own body, you can't get a gun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, he was murked, man. Yeah, oh, he was murked, bro. Charlie Kirk was murked because they saw that after Trump's assassination attempt, President Trump didn't go after the law to empower the normal American man. That has been deplatformed and removed from a point of stability in this country since the 2010s. The 2010s, I remember it. I'm old enough to remember when they started those campaigns to tell men, you need to be more sensitive, you need to be more open, you need to be a metrosexual. You know, queer eye for the straight guy. They had gay dudes dressing up straight men. Come on, man. In the 2010s, it became, you need emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Come on, dude. They've been feminizing and emasculating. Now you got Logan Paul, who I think he's in the closet, who wipes up and you could see what the guys, like I was telling guys, a lot of the guys that are in the closet, they have a hyper notion to the straight man. They, gay, a closet will think, well, I'm a straight guy, so even if she slept with a lot of men, she's extremely beautiful, and straight guys will marry any woman that's extremely beautiful. Man, Logan Paul is. I wouldn't doubt if Logan Paul's in the closet. You know, I wouldn't doubt it. Let me see what the homie Red said. I saw a man's. What the hell? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. That when they killed him, man. When they killed him, yeah, I saw the shot, man. Yeah, man. Ranch dressing. Oh yeah. Yo, a lot of these guys in the closet will wipe up, and you could see it. You can pinpoint the math when you know they're in the closet and they're part of the industry plants, is that they will always get with the most dirty, disgusting, trashy woman. You know what I'm saying? Look at Kanye West, man. Look at what happened to Kanye West, man. He wifed up Kim Kardashian after she was in a porno. I mean, my bad. Oh, YouTube, bad word. I mean, after she was in a cornflake. Ooh, cornflakes. You know what I'm saying? She was in a cornflakes. Oh, that's a good new slang right there. Cornflakes. She was in a cornflakes DVD, and Kanye West wifed up a a straight up full blown. You know, her only talent was her throat. You know what I'm saying? She had throat talent. And I'm not talking about singing. You know, her talent was drink. She could drink ranch dressing without breathing. You know what I'm saying? She could drink ranch dressing without needing to breathe air for 5 minutes. And Kanye West was a tool, and I covered this on video, a wholesome whore. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these guys that are plants, they will follow a path, man. It is a very sketchy path where you're like, this ain't normal, man. There's no way a guy like, if Logan Paul was straight, he lives in Puerto Rico with mostly men all year. It is running and is training for some reason. And then he wifes up a woman. They got video giving a BJ to a guy that's been slept around. Dude, man, Logan Paul, I wouldn't be shocked he's in the closet. Because the guys in the closet always, you know, they always take the straight male perspective to the highest level, you know. Let's see what the homie said. Sid, you hear Kim's rap song? That was, oh no, I ain't here, bro. I got my man. I don't want to torture myself, man. I want to live. I want to live a longer life. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro. The thing is, with what's going on with the Kirk situation is, I'll say one more thing about it is that if Trump doesn't completely change all the laws, if we wake up, if this month ends with not a lot of laws, because we know who's behind it. We know it was a paid hit job, probably. I ain't gonna say the names, but we know who it was. You know, they paid them. They want to send a message. It most likely the same people that funded the BLM, same people that arranged the whole riots. Because I remember Trump said he's going to get some people on a RICO charge. I think the Saul, I won't say the name, but he was going to get them on a RICO charge for funding BLM and the riots, and the other people funding a destruction, because there's no political RICO. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people this, man. When it comes to the law, how you know it's corrupt is there's not a line. There's not a line for everybody, especially authority. There's no line for authority, man. And think about it. As soon as Trump announced a couple weeks ago that he's gonna go after a certain person on a RICO. Now all of a sudden Charlie Kirk is dead. You know, Charlie Kirk is dead after Trump announced we're gonna get somebody on a RICO. You know, for funding BLM and the burning towns and all that stuff. So now all of a sudden Charlie Kirk is dead. And like I said, look at him, a man with a family, a straight male. You know what I'm saying? And they're marketing and promoting it as a fetish, because this is what they want. They want to showcase that the straight male deserves death. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see none of this. The people who what I'm saying, who Call of Duty, the schools, the churches, they didn't parade them around, their bodies in their face. But they'll parade this Charlie Kirk. He was married, he had a family. They're gonna parade him around because the straight male's image must be death and suffering. You know what I'm saying? All the media will promote this without holding nothing back. But let it be someone in the closet shows up to a church and Call of Duty's that. Someone in the closet shows up to a school, Call of Duty. Someone in the closet shows up to a kindergarten class, Call of Duty. They won't fully cover it. The whole media won't cover it. You know. But like I said, this Charlie Kirk situation, man, it will prove either Trump is all about insulating himself. He's protected. As long as he's protected, it's all good. because this Charlie Kirk situation, man, it is proof that the government needs to step the hell away. The federal government needs to step away from men. Leave the men alone. Let the states decide. Step away from the men, their right to bear arms, protect their family, have authority, discipline their children. The federal government needs to step aside because this Charlie Kirk situation has just opened the door. Now a lot of leftists watching, a lot of people that are crazy watching it. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't gonna be a racial war. The racial war has been promoted for years. It wasn't there ain't gonna be a race war. Now, can there be political warfare? Oh yeah. Oh that could happen. And if you look at Charlie Kirk as someone from the politics angle that just fell, because what's gonna happen now is all the guys on the right they're gonna stop performing comedies. They're gonna stop doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Already. Yeah, the government is already demonic thing as well. The thing is this, bro. The government, as I call it, the government sees itself as a religious entity, a religion. And they're gonna feed on this, man. The thing is, if the government, if the feds don't step away from men, and if Trump doesn't enact the law, I mean a lot of them, you can't own a gun if you suffer from body dysmorphia. If you show any signs that you're not normal, as in you're not a straight male, you can't touch any of these. Because if you suffer from body dysmorphia, sexual, well, what do they call that? Sexual confusion or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? And if Trump needs to put fathers in the amendment. There's a lot that happens. It needs to happen. There's little rules he's changing. I heard he's changing the marital law. He changed certain things, but I'm gonna tell you guys. I've been telling guys this in the manosphere is that the laws could change if we don't have a guaranteed. Let me see. What is that? You said sexual deviancy. Oh, sexual deviancy. Yeah, yeah. If there's any sign that you're not normal from that perspective, you can't even exist as a normal human being, how can you be trusted with weapons, man? You know what I'm saying? So if Trump doesn't tell the Fed, step away, man, the federal government will no longer enforce child support. The federal government, the feds will be stepping away from anything that has to do with men. Let the states handle. And now the feds will enforce the protection of the straight male. Because this right here, the man's married, has a family. You know what I'm saying? This is the image. If nothing is done after him from a legal standpoint, we full time ghosting for real, man. You know, because this is the beginning of a situation where if you have not been voted by the political committee. If you're not a high standing politician, you can't run for office anymore. If you can't afford Secret Service protection from military protection and all that stuff, you can't run for office no more. You know what I'm saying? You could be taken out at any time. This is the message this was sending, that the poor and unprotected. And I mean, he wasn't poor. He had some, I can't, you know, I won't say, he had the money. He could have been more protected. You know what I'm saying? I'll just leave it at that. But this is the sign, man. This is what they wanted. I look at this and I say, if Trump doesn't pass a lot of executive orders by this week to next week, that this is changing, that is changing. It's gonna be the death penalty for just, to me, if you step outside with a gun and it's illegal, you should be facing potentially 10 years, man. 10 years in jail for just stepping outside with an illegal gun. You know what I'm saying? The problem we have is there is no de-escalation. You know what I'm saying? All the laws are written from when you succeed. Attempted murder, killing somebody. The laws are written from you getting all the way to that point versus, yo, he stepped outside with a gun. He's gonna face 5 years in jail. You step outside with a gun, that's 5 years. And if there's bullets in that gun, each bullet represents a year in jail. So if you step outside with a loaded gun and there's 7 bullets in there, that's 5 years plus 7, man. But they don't do that. It's not about de-escalation. The laws are written for punishing you once you succeed or attempted to succeed, but most importantly, you violated the safety of a law-abiding citizen. You know what I'm saying? That's how the laws are written. But guys, it's been let me see what the homie Red said. In England, if you get caught with a handgun, it's an automatic 5 years, and 1 extra year is another year in jail. Yeah. Yo, my brother Red, I don't disagree with that law at all. That's accurate. You know what I'm saying? The problem people don't get why the law fails is that you should not fear. The law shouldn't be you're afraid to serve prison time for killing somebody. The law should be you're afraid to even get caught with a weapon that could kill somebody. If somebody's scared of just, yo, I'm outside with a loaded gun, each bullet potentially counts as probably 2 to 5 years. Because remember, one bullet could kill more than one person. You know what I'm saying? So if someone came outside with a loaded gun and they could potentially be serving 20 years in jail for just being outside with an illegal gun, how many people gonna go outside with an illegal gun? You know what I'm saying? Not many at all. But in an age where you could print guns, there's 3D printed guns. There's so many ways somebody could lose their life, yet the government has not updated the laws to defend your life, defend your household, defend your family. None of the laws for defense have been updated, even though the technology and the ways to kill somebody has been. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like they got the RICO law, where they do these long-term investments, but why isn't there a lighter version of that where we caught you selling drugs, you got 5 people hanging around you, you know what I'm saying? Those 5 people, they're gonna face a year. They're facing a year in prison for just being around you, man. Let's see what Domi Red said. And if you have a switch, it's 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Charlie got a bolt action hunting rifle. Yeah, yeah. That. I ain't know about that, but yeah, man. The thing is, bro, the laws do not value life. You gotta remember, they see you as basically rats. In my honest opinion, that's how I think they see the American citizen, man. That's how they see their citizens is, in my opinion, they see you like a rat, man. You know what I'm saying? You could breed, they can do whatever they want to you, man. They don't care. They don't care how they treat the citizen anymore. The citizens are rats, you know? You know what I mean? You'll die and you'll be rebred, and they'll breed another citizen will be bred. And this Charlie Kirk situation is gonna be it's a Western alarm, man. Because I personally think if Trump doesn't do anything, this will repeat in London. This is gonna happen in London. This is gonna happen in Canada, Australia. They're gonna basically declare it's a war between the politics. You know what I'm saying? And we all know who's funding certain people, certain groups. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna see the parliament in London all of a sudden a right wing or a upstart group of people were just wiped out. You know what I'm saying? Just gunned down. You know, Call of Duty. Just Call of Duty in broad daylight. Because look how it was done. It was done in broad daylight. It was a repeat of the Trump attempt, man. You know what I'm saying? Except this one succeeded. So you look at this situation, and if the government, man, doesn't mandate, if Trump doesn't come out swinging, this is going to repeat, man. I could see a political war. You know what I'm saying? A racial war, racial war, I mean, that's been promoted for years, but there's too many reasons to avoid that. But a political war, oh, that could happen. A political war can happen, man. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, this sends a message because I think he was in Utah. Let me look at what type of state Utah, if it's right, Democrat or Republican. See what the hell is Utah? What the hell is perplexity? Give me a minute. Go to perplexity quick. Utah. Democrat. Democrat state or Republican. Let me see. I'm asking it if Utah is Democratic or Republican. The state. And currently, Utah has a complete Republican state where he was where he was where he was gunned down. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what the homie said. Yeah, Utah is heavy Republican state. Yeah. Utah is heavily Republican, but what is the right to bear arms over there? You know what I'm saying? Let me see gun law. Utah. You know what I'm saying? Well, what is, let's see what's the gun laws in Utah, you know what I'm saying? If you could bear arms. Utah has some of the most permissive gun laws. Oh, wow. Yeah, it said Utah has some of the most permissive gun laws, as in they allow you to carry and all that, you know. But to me, this is in all honesty, this is gonna change everything, man. Because I think Charlie Kirk was a YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of these YouTubers now, are realizing this has changed things to you could get touched. Charlie Kirk will be basically now he's gonna become like a Kirk's Law. Kirk's Law is gonna be if you got money, man, you're a YouTuber, you got some money and you talking about politics and all that stuff. And if you're running for office or anything like that, you got some YouTube money and you don't spend that money on protecting yourself. I mean, let me see. Charlie Kirk net worth. Let me see. What was his net worth, man? He was worth $12 million. Yeah, Charlie Kirk was worth $12 million. Yeah, I think you can open carry in Utah. Yeah. Charlie Kirk was worth $12 million. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it now, it's going to be the Kirk Law. Any YouTuber, anybody with some money, they're trying to talk this whole, you know what this also going to open up for your Myron Gaines and all of them. You know how Myron was at the colleges debating and all that stuff. Charlie Kirk was worth however much his handlers wanted him to be worth. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but either way, bro, it's gonna be Kirk's Law. Now, any YouTuber, any content creator with some money, that wants to get controversial against the left or right, whatever it is, they're gonna have to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? They want to make a public outing, they're gonna have to protect themselves. They're gonna have to scan the area and all that stuff. This right here will lead to Kirk's law. You know, you're gonna see celebrities, everybody's gonna move differently after this, man. Far more secure. And if Trump doesn't pass any laws, let's see. Yeah, Ben Shapiro will be doing Haas College campus debates behind a bulletproof glass. Oh man, I got such a joke for that. Red. Will Ben Shapiro? Will a glass be kosher? I, I had to get that off, man. Will a glass be kosher for Ben Shapiro? Oh man, my bad on that. My bad. I couldn't help it. You know what I mean, that wrote itself. But yeah, man, a lot of these YouTubers now, all these content creators, these influencers, this is now the warning that, yeah, man, you got your millions, you're safe on YouTube, but you come outside in the real world and you got all this money and you know what I'm saying, you got all this money and you want to talk all this controversy, you better be ready, man. You know what I mean? You better be ready, man. The only person I knew that was ready, 50 Cent, had his vehicles bulletproof, uh, missile proof, all that. You know, it's not. Let me see. It's not safe. We will have to debate on. Yeah, gonna be online for. Oh, yo, SP. Notice what you said. It's not safe. We will have to debate online. Woo. That is deep, man. Think about that. It's not safe. We will have to debate online. You know what this means? Think about it. You know, they attempted to assassinate Trump. Maybe this whole Charlie Kirk situation was to push people, push all the debates online where your websites like YouTube, Facebook, which can control and shadow ban people to decide the votes. So it can further push you into the AI's hands that they run on their platforms. Think about it if every debate now is held on an online platform. I've been to Facebook jail more times than I've ever been in jail in real life. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me a guy like me could participate in a Facebook debate? Come on, man. This might be to push people online. But another thing is it all depends on what Trump will do. But you know, this is the same Trump who owns what's that website, True Social and all that stuff. So I don't know, man. This line right here, bro, you need to save this, man. You need to screenshot this. It's not safe. We will have to debate online. Whew. God damn, that is deep, man. It's not safe. We will have to debate online. And here's the thing, the internet will be even more unsafe and uncontrolled because once the AIs can redub what you can say, just think about you're having a debate live on YouTube and they redub you to say something extremely offensive, whether it's racist or whether it's pro, PDF, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Think about that. It's like I tell people the only safe spaces now will be to meet completely in the woods with no one else knowing y'all going there. You know what I mean? But this Charlie Kirk now changes it. That your show speeds, your Mr. Beast, all these content creators that got money, man. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you. SP, man, you don't even know. This is This is deep, man. It's not safe. We will have to debate online. God, oof, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. And think about it. Conan 19 forced everyone to order food online. You know what I'm saying? The SARS epidemic, the SARS mailing forced everyone to get Gmail. Now, Charlie Kirk's assassination will force everyone to legitimize debating online, running for president online, running for government office online, where they can shadow ban your views. You know what I'm saying? Where they can shadow ban you and make sure nothing you say or do has been seen. I mean, this is dangerous. But the way I look at it, we'll see, man. Because to me, what's happening with Trump right now is, man, if he doesn't take any action, Charlie Kirk will basically represent, his death will represent the day MAGA died. You know what I'm saying? His death will represent the day MAGA died if Donald Trump and his whole camp do not do a complete 360 flip. The amount of laws that need to be adjusted, the amount of things that need to be changed. Oh, because this Kirk's law, I say his death will basically signal the end of MAGA. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing with what was being MAGA was this sense of invincibility, this sense that, you know, people were scared of you because you represented MAGA. It wasn't the other way around. Now you're going to have all the people that represent MAGA be terrified and think we're targets. We can't be going outside. We can't be talking like that. You know what I'm saying? We need BVS law. BVS. Oh man, BVS. Black Fred Skyver. Oh, you out there? Well, you know, I said Eric. You know what I mean? I watch. You know what I'm saying? One of these days, I plan to do a parody of that. But yeah. Oh, BVS, you're talking about Batman versus Superman law, maybe. But yeah, the thing is, bro, this this is big, bro. And think about it. He died a few days before 9/11. Think about that. Think about that, man. What are the odds that they assassinate him a few days before 9/11? You know what I mean? There's too many things happening, man. I mean, it's now on Trump, man, because the way I look at it, oh, look at that. He died on 9/10. Damn. A day before 9/11, man. Come on, Red. This is crazy, man. He died 9/10 and the day after is 9/11. That is crazy, man. That is just insane. And like I said, now and I know a lot of YouTubers, man, all these influencers that used to be, this changes everything, you know, because now this says if you're an influencer, you're touchable. It ain't gonna be a fan. It's, you know what I mean? This changes everything. You're gonna see celebrities, influencers. This changes everything. And if Trump doesn't act, this 9/10 will be the day MAGA died, and potentially the day hope, the day future or thoughts about America having a future died. Because this is the last straw, man. You kill a straight male with a wife and all that stuff. And this is the further proof. And you look at his death and you symbolize it. A married man that was, you know, You know what I'm saying? Fighting for, modern conservative rights, whatever. You know what I mean? So I look at his death, this is the end of MAGA, man. If President Trump does not act, if Trump pulls I look at him, I look at his death like Trayvon. When Trayvon Martin died and Barack Obama just said, well, he looked like he could have been my son. Obama did all his talking and nothing else. So if Trump just talks, oh man, it's over. Because if you could shut down the entire country during Conan 19, but you can't do executive orders to ensure that Americans can defend and protect themselves, yeah, it's over, man. You know, we're gonna see, man. 9/10 might mark the day that make America great again. End it. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. But guys, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? To stream, and I want to have one more moment of silence, man. One more moment of silence for Charlie Kirk's family. Yeah. Cause man, they lost their father, they lost everything, man. And to me, this will be the turning point. Either America's gonna wake back up and become America, land of the free, land of the proud. You know what I'm saying? Or this is where it ends, man. And all the homies in London and other countries, man, please look out, man. You gotta look out, because the question now becomes, who's Charlie Kirk for London? Who's Charlie Kirk for Australia? Who's Charlie Kirk for Canada? Who's your Charlie Kirk? Because man, it's about to get wild. If Trump doesn't act, it's about to get wild, man. Because this is gonna send a message for all the other countries to say, hey, oh, it's cool, man. It's cool this happens. No problem. You know? But man, y'all have a safe one, man, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, bro. We will see what happens, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all stay blessed, man. And this has been Hold the Truth. Look at that. Some 17-year-old. To me, I mean, it is Utah. Certain states you're being trained to shoot a gun. I remember when I was in Dallas, I was in Houston getting my gun license. And a guy said, man, I've been shooting a gun since I was 5 years old. My daddy taught me. So, but to me, this, you know what? I was gonna end it, but you know what, SP, man, I'm gonna hit that 3 hour. Cause you just brought up something. Think about Luigi. What was that Luigi guy who shot the CEO? You know what I'm saying? Who Call of Duty the CEO, man. Who just randomly Call of Duty the CEO, and they say that ain't even him. You know, that ain't even him, dude. I think this is another Luigi situation. You're telling me a 17-year-old, you know what I'm saying? What are the odds that 17-year-old's name is Mario? You know what I'm saying? That would be crazy. If that 17-year-old who Call of Duty, you know what I'm saying, Call of Duty, Charlie Kirk, oh, that'd be insane, bro. His name's Mario. You know, it would be the government playing a crazy joke. But I look at it like this is also kind of like that Luigi guy, where it didn't really look. Oh, his name is Tyler. Oh, oh, Tyler. Wow, that's. I mean, oh, that's different. That's Tyler. But yeah, man, I look at it as, man, my brothers, man, this is a sign, man. You know what I mean? His name is Tyler. But yeah, I look at it's kind of like the Luigi thing, but this changes everything, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, first Trump, now they successfully killed Call of Duty Charlie Kirk. You know, yeah, Luigi looks nothing like the guy in the hoodie that murked the CEO. Yeah. Oh yeah, Luigi was most likely an actor, man. You know, they're gonna put him in, they film him. And I mean, look at all the camera angles when they took a photo of Luigi. It all looks staged, man. Even the way he ordered food and shot him and all that. Yo, and the way they caught him, it looks staged, man. You know? But think about it. If the country's government could run with a corpse, Joe Biden, a corpse, you know, why can't the country run with how hard would it be for the country to execute some assassinations, you know? So man, man. Oh man. Take one more drink to this Charlie Kirk, man, and I think we're gonna have a long September, man. A long September, bro. Because the same year they attempted to assassinate Trump, the same year you get an assassination success. You know, they successfully killed Charlie Kirk. So I look at it, we'll see, man. A lot has changed. We got a long September. And like I said to y'all, man, y'all in London, y'all in Ireland, y'all overseas, anybody in a westernized country, you know, I even say Japan, any country that's chasing or Americanized, whatever, you know, it's coming. Let me see. How does a McDonald's worker report someone who doesn't even look like the killer, and then they find a manifesto against the healthcare industry in the backpack? Yeah. Nah, I mean, I never believed that the guy did it. I saw the photos and I'm like, ah. And then he's from a college. He had no damn training. I mean, it was staged, man. But to me, it's the beginning, man. Now they're saying, man, this guy Kirk's death, you know, and it also might be a message to content creators that you could be touched, man. You on the menu too, man. You're on the menu. You know, celebrities that have been actors have died, been assassinated. You know, Bruce Lee assassinated many actors. So now it's to let the content creators know you're on the chopping block. But yeah, man, it's about to be a wild month, man. But guys, y'all have a safe one, man. It's been Hold the Truth Hostage. Where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies, would hold the truth hostage. And like I tell y'all, man, full-time ghosting, look at that. Full-time ghosting isn't an option, man. It's the only choice, man. You don't have a choice, bro. You know, I talk to a lot of guys, man, that keep thinking when I say this full-time ghosting stuff, you know, it's a joke. You know, I'm joking around, but yo, look at that. You think about that. Another thing with this Charlie Kirk situation is that he was close to Trump. He's hosting a talk and all that stuff. Why wasn't he sent security? You know, why didn't they sweep the area? What does that say, man? Why didn't they sweep the area? I mean, Trump almost got assassinated, so why didn't they sweep the area for Charlie Kirk? You know what I'm saying? The amount of setup that's been that this looks, it looks like a setup, man. So to me, we'll see, man, and you know, every day I keep telling people, man, there are no more secrets. The days of secrets are over, man. You're looking at the truth. Think, and another thing is, think about this. They could release a Conan 19. They could quarantine the whole country. You're telling me they can't assassinate a few people? Come on, man. And assassinate a few people. Oh man, let me see when you said when Tupac got shot, it proved that celebrities can get touched. Yeah, but Red, you gotta understand, Tupac was a working celebrity. He was a rapper. You know, he was a rapper, a superstar rapper. He wasn't a streamer. He wasn't a guy who just goes on YouTube and talks a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's now the Kirk is to showcase these content creators. You can be touched. You know what I'm saying? You could be assassinated too. Because I mean, before Charlie Kirk, I mean, what content creator did you hear get assassinated, man? You know what I'm saying? See what Domi read. Yeah, it should be called Conan 29. Conan 19, brother. They created that. Let me see. No more secrets. That's why they popping people. Oh, damn. Goddamn SP, man. You gotta frame that. No more secrets. Yeah, man. They're doing it in the open. They don't do assassinations in the dark no more. Think about it. They shot at him in broad daylight. They shot at him in broad daylight and they could have hit anybody else by accident. You know what I'm saying? They're showing you that we don't care about hiding our intent anymore. We want somebody gone, they gone. In broad daylight. We want to send a message. Want to send a message to their friends, their family. You know what I mean? Show the world. We'll make a movie out of this person. So to me, man, this is what's going on, bro. See what the homie read. Yeah, they want as many people to see as possible to send as much fear as possible. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, there's fear, but the problem that's happened is, you know what I'm saying, Red, we don't have normal fear like we used to, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to warn guys for a couple years right now. Give me 1 second. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to warn guys that there are some men there's a group of people that look for the end, man. They want this. There's some people that want to trigger the end of times, nuclear war and all that, the ender, the asteroid pill, ender cells, whatever. There are people that want this. So the thing is, the Charlie Kirk guy was a talker. You know what I'm saying? He talked. This gonna trigger some, like I was trying to tell y'all, is there's a pocket pop culture, pocket community. And some people gonna look at this as a challenge. Like I said, political warfare is possible. Far political warfare is far more possible than racial warfare. Because political warfare, you get the money to fund the war through political means. Racial warfare, you get the money through, race. And there's many potential issues with that, many potential roadblocks to get the money for war through racial issues versus political versus I'm a Democrat, you a Republican, I'm a Democrat, you're Muslim, but you're a Democrat, you're a Latino, you're a Democrat, you're uh you know you're atheist, you're a Democrat, oh you're what I'm saying, you're agnostic, you're a Republican. There's far more resources for war through political means rather than racial means. You know what I'm saying? The racial lines. Then there's it's a lot easier to convince people. Your freedom's on the line, your ability to speak and talk, your ability to raise your families on the line. It's a lot easier to fund political warfare. You know what I'm saying? Then racial warfare, because racial lines means there's a limit of resources, and then it becomes predictable. All the whites got their money together to fight all the blacks, and it's too predictable, you know. But political warfare, oh no one will see it coming. It could happen anytime, anywhere. It's political warfare, and the targets vary. So to me, man, we're looking at the beginning of something massive. And like I said, if Trump and all of them don't take a major act, if this doesn't lead to a complete restart and fix of the amendments, if this doesn't fix the amendments where they put fathers and so on and actually protect the stable American, oh, it's over, man. But like I said, man, I'm gonna roll out, but I'm gonna say this last thing, man. If you're in Australia, Canada, you're in any Americanized country, man, you better look, cause you better look for who's the next Charlie Kirk, cause man, if Trump doesn't act on this, all the other countries will say, man, anytime someone acts like Charlie Kirk, you're free to take him out, you know. But y'all have a good one, man. Peace out. Yo, hold the truth hostage. Yo, hold the truth hostage. Yo, hold the truth